welcome to the Monday, December 18th meeting of the Hoover City Council. I'd like to call the meeting to order and ask the clerk, please call the roll.
Council President Lyda.
Here.
Council Pro-Tem Posey. Councilmember Swiney.
Here.
Councilmember Driver. Here. Councilmember Murphy. Councilmember Middlebrooks. Councilmember McClinton.
Here. Councilor Murphy is parking his truck, so Madam Clerk, if you'll pray extra long tonight, I bet we can stall until he gets in. If everyone would please rise. If everyone would please stand for the prayer to be led by our clerk and remain standing for the pledge to be led by Councilor Driver. I'd like to turn the podium over to Mayor Mercado. I guess some recognitions tonight.
Thank you, Mr. President. I appreciate that. And it's an opportunity for us tonight to recognize those that have been serving us for many, many years. And first on the agenda is none other than Mr. Colin Connor, who's been here 25 years. Colin, come down if you would, so everyone can see who we're talking about. And he is joined by his wife, Wendy. Wendy's back there. Colin began his career with the city of Hoover in 1998. Shortly thereafter, he and his wife relocated to Hoover so they could both vote in local elections. And he is, a committed voter for sure. Colin spent 22 years of his career in the engineering department and serving as our city's urban forester. In that role, he was directly involved with just our growth and development. He is, a true tree hugger and has the credentials to go with it. But the flip side, that's his softer side. He is a Marine, and once a Marine, always a tough guy. As urban forester, he helped develop our urban forestry program. One of the things that when I think about Colin, and not to hurt all the other employees that are in here, but he's probably our most popular and most well-loved and beloved employee in the entire city. I mean, that's just a fact. No reason to apologize, but he is. So, and I'm going off script because I really want to just talk about who he is and what he means to the people that run our beautification board, for instance. They absolutely love him because he contributes so much to what we love about our city. Every third, fourth, fifth grade student that has been here for the last 15, 20 years knows Colin because he goes into the schools, he plants a tree, and it's a big deal. It's well attended, but not only does he plant that tree, these kids learn about what that tree what it does, all the things that it, provides for us. He's an incredible educator. And he loves our city, and people call him from all over the city to come look at their trees, look at their plants to see what's going on. And he's always there stepping up to help. He's just a good guy. He's just a good guy. And I'm so glad that we've got him in our city. And I don't know if he'll do it. Did you write the leafy? You did? So look, we have time for this. Have you ever heard the leafy pledge? So I'm going to tell you, I told you the tree hug. So I'd like everyone to stand. Everyone please stand. All right, this is what we do at the schools, and it goes over really great. So here you go.
We'll just pretend that we've just planted Mayor Mercado, so he's already. So if you would, raise your lemmy arms and wave your leafy fingers and repeat after me. I pledge my attention to this tree.
I pledge my attention to this tree.
Its roots, its leaves, and its branches.
Its roots, its leaves, its branches.
I promise I'll take care of it.
I promise I'll take care of it.
On days Mother Nature passes.
On days Mother Nature passes.
I'll water it and feed it as time goes by.
I'll water it and feed it as time goes by.
And watch it grow and be.
And watch it grow and be.
A wonder of nature I can one day call.
A wonder of nature I can one day call.
My very own Arbor Day tree.
There you go. Thank you very much. And with that said, I'd love to.
By the way, she spends her days saving lives, literally. As a nurse, takes care of folks that have strokes, tumors, and everything else in between. Thank you. Mayor, you want our hands up?
You'll never have a presentation like that. Next up, another absolutely wonderful individual, Miss Vanessa Bradstreet. Vanessa, come on, Vanessa joined the city December 7th, 1973. She held several positions in the city, including Park and Rec Department, City Clerk's Office, and Planning and Zoning. Vanessa took the position of zoning assistant in 2009 and has served that role ever since. She became a foundational member of the city's newly established Planning and Zoning Office. As zoning assistant, Vanessa has been responsible for receiving and processing applications for our city commission and the Board of Zoning Adjustments. In addition to processing these, she serves as the secretary for the Planning Commission, the BZA. Again, what an incredible lady she is. Everyone loves her. She's receptive. She's an incredibly hard-working individual. And the sad thing about it, she is retiring Friday. It is sad. The institutional knowledge that she brings and takes home with her is going to be so very hard to replace. The things that planning and zoning deal with, I think everyone on the board would agree, it's probably the most difficult things that there's a room full of people in here right now that understand the importance of planning and zoning. And she's right in the middle of it, but she's just a wonderful lady, and I'm proud to have known her all these years. And we hope that you have a great retirement with your husband. And Ron is here as well. Ron, come on up and let's take a picture with y'all as well. Thank you so much for your service to our city.
Mayor, Mr. President, can I say one thing about Vanessa? I want to say this. When I was appointed to the Zoning Adjustment Board, and I think there was a pledge process you had to kind of go through, be a appointed official or something. But she was so welcoming to me. First day, she led me through the ropes of what I had to have and things I needed to learn and people I need to get to know. And that meant the world to me, being in public service at a younger age. And I just want to say thank you so much for welcoming me in. I never felt 1 minute while I was an outsider. When you get to know people like that care about the city, but also care about the future of the city and new leaders, that tells you the type of person that she is. So I just wanted to make sure I said that to you. Thank you so much.
I would, you see to my left here, we would ask Linda Moore if she would share some information about one of her outstanding employees that we're going to recognize shortly.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. Members of City Council, Council President Lyda. The 911 Emergency Communications Department has come here this evening to ask that we recognize and honor an exceptional individual who has dedicated 28 years of her life to the service of ensuring the safety and well-being of our community. Beth, you want to come down? Elizabeth Beth Stanley has been in the heart of our emergency response system. Beth has served as a guiding light for our emergency communications officers, and we've got several present here with us today, providing steadfast leadership, unwavering support, and unparalleled expertise. As a supervisor overseeing our dedicated team dispatchers, Beth played a critical role in coordinating responses to countless emergencies throughout her career, ensuring that help reached those in need swiftly and efficiently. Her dedication and commitment to this critical task have undoubtedly saved lives and made our community safer. In her position, Beth's role as an emergency communication supervisor was not just about managing protocols and procedures. It was about leading a team of compassionate individuals who work tirelessly, often behind the scenes, to keep our community safe. She's been a mentor, a friend, and a source of inspiration to her colleagues, consistently demonstrating the highest level of professionalism and integrity. As Beth steps into a well-deserved retirement, we want to express our deepest gratitude for her exceptional service, leadership, and unwavering commitment to our community's safety. Her legacy will continue to inspire us, reminding us of the importance of dedication, teamwork, and compassion in our noble profession. Beth, as you embark on this new chapter in your life, please know that your contributions have not gone unnoticed. You leave behind a department that is stronger, more efficient, and more compassionate thanks to your efforts. May your retirement be filled with joy, good health, and endless adventures. Everybody join me in giving a warm and heartfelt applause to our dear colleague and friend, Beth Stanley, as we wish her a happy and well-deserved retirement. Thank you for 28 years.
And finally, I would, as you know, our CFO retired a few months ago, and I'm happy to report that we have landed on a great person to fill the role now of our Chief Financial Officer, and that's Jennifer Cornet. Jennifer, you come up, just stand by me a second if you would. Jennifer's here with her husband, Chris. She has two sons, Andrew and Ben. Andrew is here tonight, and Jennifer's in-laws, Joel and Bonnie Cornet, they are also here, and they are new residents of Hoover, moving from Auburn. Welcome, we're glad to have you. Jennifer received her undergraduate degree from Kennesaw State University in Business Administration and received her master's degree at the University of Alabama. She has been a professor at Auburn University for the past 19 years. Prior to that, she worked as a senior staff accountant at Barfield Murphy, Shank & Smith, and for 14 years she was in commercial lending. She's a licensed CPA and just brings a wealth of talent, and we are excited to have her with us and just have a person of her integrity and quality to join our staff. Is the type of folks that we like to see come to Hoover and the types of folks that we want to hire in Hoover. So If you would join me in welcoming Jennifer and her family.
I just want to say that I feel really honored and thankful to be in this position. I'm looking forward to serving the people of the city of Hoover, and I'm really super excited about this awesome leadership team that Mayor Bricado has assembled. And so I'm looking forward to joining the team at the end of this month. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. We have a few more presentations tonight, beginning with an update on a project to turf several athletic fields throughout the city. And I'd like to call on Ms. Erin Coball to introduce this project.
Good evening. It's my pleasure to introduce Sean Kalma and his team from Latham Architects and Associates. And as mentioned, they have been working with us throughout the past year on the turf project that includes fields at the schools as well as our various sports parks. And it is my pleasure to introduce Sean to come forward and give us his update.
Thank you, Erin. Council, thank you for having us tonight. My name is Sean, again, with Latham Architects. I have our team from HNP, who is our landscape architect. Warner's Athletic is our contractor. And I'm pleased to give you an update tonight. I'm going to go in chronological order of how we've started the projects. We've worked with the Hoover City Schools to work on their softball and baseball, starting at Hoover High and then now currently moving to Spain Park. But just as an overreaching sort of comment or update, all of the materials, meaning all of the grass, turf, the field, the fibers, that is all in and ready to go for all of the fields across the city. So that material is here, and we're just ready to get the current grass fields demoed and then install the new turf. So these are a few just kind of candid photos, ground level from this is Hoover softball, and that's where we started. This is the first field that will complete this, and Spain Park softball will finish around the same time. But here you'll see the batters, catcher's box, outfield. The graphics are actually, they come from the factory, sewn into the fabric like that. So it's a little bit more of a different technology. You used to have to cut those in by hand and glue them and that sort of thing. It's all in the, it's kind of like a giant dot matrix printer. And then the home side bullpen you'll see there as well. This is, now these drone shots are actually from Friday, so these are the most recent drone shots we have. You'll see here Hoover, the Hoover softball complex again, which will be finishing up first, so it's quite a good bit along. This is what we did was we asked the contractor to give us a schedule. So each of these sort of white boxes after each of the images is a schedule of when they will complete. I spoke to the contractor Friday. He said that those dates, the 1-2 to 1-5 date for field ready to play, all of the coaches are aware of those dates. They're trying to beat those depending on the weather because we know that practice will be starting soon. So once they complete that, then they'll complete some of the tidying up of the outside of the field. This is actually, these are a few weeks old. These are some shots, ground level of Hoover High School baseball. So you'll see the gravel base and then also the pitcher's mound and then the preliminary of the bullpens. And then this is again the drone photo from Friday that shows the turf actually rolled out, the pattern of the infield. And you'll see the gray area, the gravel around the baseball field, that's still to be finished. But this is Hoover Hoover High School baseball. Then, again, field ready to play 1/8 is the target date. Then they'll begin landscaping outside of the field and concrete construction entrance that will lead to the field. These are some ground level shots, again, a week or two old from Spain Park High School. This is the softball outfield, new concrete curbs and gutter, new fence posts going up, and then first base, that shot is down the first base line, and that's grading and fiber installation that had to be installed in the outfield there to stabilize the soil. And then this is the aerial from Friday this is showing the gravel base going down, being leveled out. Sub-drainage is already in. Once this is complete, then again, the actual turf material will start going down. Then Spain Park softball, field ready to play 1/9 target date, and then landscape outside of the field after that. So they'll be finishing up the stone install this week. Then this is Spain Park High School baseball. Again, that's the fine grading of the base being installed there, outfield grading, and for really the whole field. And then this is the aerial after all of the demo and grading of the field has begun at Spain Park baseball. Field ready to play, 1/20 target date, and then landscaping outside the field, 1/22, 1/26. Again, all of these dates have been coordinated between the contractor and the local coaches. Now to the city fields. They actually started at Hoover East Field 12. Which is one of the fields closest to the road, at that first entrance when you're coming from this direction. So this is demo of that field, some ground level shots of it. Then this is the aerial of field 12, doing some more demo, fine grading, removing batting cages, those sorts of things, and then making areas for new dugouts at field 12. And this is, it's field 7, 8, and 9 because 7 is the main playing field. Then in the corners of third base and first base are 8 and 9. They're the smaller youth fields. So those fields will be integrated into this turf on the final project there. And then this is the image showing both field 12 to the top right, field 12 to the bottom, 7, 8, and 9 towards the top right. Then these are the dates for Hoover East, which will finish up in March completely. Again, all the turf is here and ready to go for all of these fields. Stone will be, concrete drainage and fencing will start between now and the 26th of January, and then they'll start installing 57 stone. Hoover Central is where they're moving next. When I spoke to the contractor Friday, he was there removing fencing and fence fabric, so that's already started there at Central. Then we've got turf installs to start February 5th to 3/1, and then landscape and cleanup from February 26th to 3/1, so officially being done around March 1st. Then Veterans Park was where they plan to start next. It's overall schedules from 1/22 to 4/19, and that's for a complete install there. then Shades Mountain. I think the plan initially was to move to Shades Mountain after Central, but after some talking with James and some programs that go on at Shades Mountain, we decided to move Shades Mountain based on their recommendations. So that's from 6.3 to 9.6. And that includes all excavation down to turf install for that project there. And I believe that's all they have. Any questions?
Any questions about the project and the update?
Just one question, Mr. President, and I might have missed this, so I apologize. This wasn't inclusive of Hoover East football field, was it? Or were just the baseball fields?
No,
Okay.
not football.
Not football, just baseball.
Just baseball.
Is that scheduled to be?
Yeah, this is 11 baseball and
It's baseball.
softball, 4 of which are on school campuses and 7 on city
Right.
parks.
Correct.
This, it does bring up a good point that this was a joint project between the Hoover Board of Education and the City of Hoover. You may recall about a year ago, in fact, we entered into an agreement with the Board of Education to joint fund the fields at both Hoover High and Spain Park High. And so tonight is somewhat of a celebration of that. We're very grateful and honored to have our superintendent, Dr. Kevin Maddox, is here, along with board members Rex Blair, Alan Paquette, and Craig Kelly. Mr. Harley Lamy is here, AD of Hoover High School. And Chief Buck, Mr. David Bannister is here. David, always glad to have you here. And we have 2 Park and Rec board members here too as well, Mr. Hunter Bridwell and Mr. Jeremy Weiss. So would you all please make them welcome? We're very grateful for the update. This is an exciting time. It's been a long time in the making and a lot of work has gone into it, but the pictures I've been seeing, in addition to the update you gave tonight, really are impressive. And it's going to be a state-of-the-art, best-in-class facility when we get completed.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Mr. President, one question. President Kermit Kendrick with school board gave me a call, so he couldn't break away from item, so he apologized for not being here.
Thank you, sir. Next up, we have an update on our Parks and Public Spaces plan. Ms. Mindy Wyatt is here to introduce that.
Good evening. We brought you a Christmas present. We're very excited to announce that our draft of the Parks and Public Spaces plan is available for you guys to review. And if you want some light reading over the Christmas holidays, I highly recommend it. We have with us tonight Susan England from Land Design, who will walk through some highlights of the plan. And I will just tell you, can't thank our project team enough. See many of them here tonight. Thank you to our Parks Board, to our Planning and Zoning Commission, and then also to our City Council, not only for your support of the project, but also for your participation along the way. So cannot say how just great of a project this has been to have so many people that have so many different areas of expertise really come together. This is a joint project between Parks and Recreation, our City Planning Office, and our Economic and Community Development Office. I hope that didn't mean my time's up. Still have a few more minutes, I hope. But thank you very much for your just interest in this project. We believe that it's been a valuable investment, and we believe that you will see the value of that investment as you look through this plan and have an opportunity to make comments, and then we'll talk a little bit about the timeline. So Susan England from Land Design, please.
Thank you, Mindy. Good evening, everyone.
We'll talk briefly about the highlights, and I apologize, slide deck is not loaded, so. You have it on your computer? Okay. You want to go ahead and get it? Do you want to let the other folks go and we'll get that pulled up for you?
Yes, that's perfectly fine.
Okay.
We'll do it.
Take a brief pause on that while we're pulling that up, and we will now move to an update for the SFM performance. Shannon Ely is here with his team, and we'll call Mr. Ely to give his quarterly report.
Good evening. Appreciate taking the time to talk about some of the highlights that the Hoover Met Complex experienced in fiscal year 23. And I think that Hopefully my presentation is being pulled up. So just to hit on some quick points real quick. First and foremost, we've established and built a phenomenal team. It's hard to believe, but 13 of our 16 full-time employees have been with us less than 18 months. And so we have done a complete overhaul, but we have strengthened and enhanced our team and have the best people in place for maximum success for the Hoover Met Complex. Because we have been reinventing ourselves and developing structure and all that, we have spent a lot of time in our staff meetings investing time developing who we are, where we're going, and what we want to stand for. So we've identified our mission, vision, and core values, and those are listed in the annual report that I've given each of the council members. We did a grand reopening and a rebranding of the Hoover Heights Climbing Center in November of 2022. We've had to go out and get a whole brand new staff for that, part-time residents, and so that's gaining a lot of momentum and traction. And then at the SEC baseball tournament, we worked under a new management structure, so sports facilities companies and City of Hoover and the Parks and Rec Department kind of did a joint effort to manage all aspects of the tournament. And some of the things that the Hoover Met Complex staff oversaw was concession operations, local and regional advertising, staffing assignments through our part-time pool, as well as needing to hire some temporary staff members through an agency. We assisted with Fan Fest, and then we hosted a youth clinic that brought in 500 underserved children from the greater Birmingham area, and that was a huge success. And then we also coordinated a youth tournament. Everybody knows that the SEC baseball tournament was a huge success. We set an attendance record of over 171,000 people. Some of the things that Amy Tweedy, our marketing and community coordinator, implemented, she developed monthly newsletters for us to create awareness for the Hoover Met Complex that would go out to local businesses, residents, and our event holders to just give them better understanding of the things about our procedures, policy, rules at the Hoover Met Complex, as well as local restaurants, sponsors of the Hoover Met Complex that people could support. We launched a redesign of our website. Ours was pretty outdated. The new website features a lot more photos of our facility. It tells a story. It's much more user-friendly and has a lot more pertinent information for the end user. Amber Fortner, our events and RV coordinator, started with us just about a year ago. She has done a phenomenal job coming in and overhauling our RV park efforts. This year we grossed over $1.06 million in RV reservations, which has exceeded anything close that's been done prior to this year. And a lot of what she did was at the encouragement of Aaron Colball and the Parks and Rec Department, and that is to create more community social events out there. So we did a big Halloween event that drew about 2,000 people. We've done Christmas parties. We did a big SEC tailgate. And so I think that engagement has really brought a lot of repeat customers and has been super successful to why that number is so high. And then the other thing that Amber did is she revamped our long-term stay policies. We've got a problem in the past with people just coming out and staying for free, and so we're doing a better job of monitoring that. And with our longer stays, she's worked with like traveling nurses and project managers with construction companies, where those companies are documenting and indicating that those people are going to be on site and stay with us for 3 or 4 months. So we've been able to generate more revenue through some of those longer term professional stays. And then go back real quick. Real pleased to announce that the Hoover Met Complex was selected for the Excellence Award by Sports Facilities Companies, which goes to the highest performing venue of all the sports facilities companies that they manage, which is 50 or so companies across the United States. So again, real tribute to our staff for their hard work. Getting into our community usage, we had over 71,000 people from the community come in and utilize our space. The playground and splash pad is a no charge. It's a free amenity, and so that remains to be the popular attraction for the 4 months that we're open from May to September. You can see the walking track is heavily used, and both tennis and pickleball remain very popular. Then as we talk about local participation usage, this is again local participants that's not driving economic impact, but we're supporting the community in the area through opportunities. You can see through our baseball and softball fields, we had over 15,000 people. And then multi-purpose fields, our soccer, football, and lacrosse fields, as well as the stadium, had 95,000. That football number of 47,000 breaks out Hoover High School football, as well as Parks and Rec football. We had a band competition for Hoover High School that brought about 5,000. We've got different soccer groups, lacrosse. And then at our Finley Center, we had over 91,000 visitors from the local community. Parks and Rec volleyball programming, Parks and Rec basketball programming, several various basketball groups. And then you can see too, our special events, meetings, and trade shows are now drawing a very, very large number. And then the activities that do generate an economic impact that's going to fill the hotels and the restaurants. We had over 437,000 guests this year. And you'll see the breakdown there for indoor. As we talked about, special events and trade shows, basketball and volleyball are our biggest attractions at the Finley Center. And then from an outdoor standpoint, and we discussed this with the City of Hoover, but we had decided to start including the SEC baseball tournament into some of these calculations. In the past, it had always been separate, and so we had made a strategic decision. So that $258,000 does include the SEC baseball tournament, just to show that our outdoor facilities brought in $310,000. So for the fiscal year FY23, we had over 713,000 visitors at the Hoover Met Complex. The other thing that I wanted to mention real quickly too is to break down that community usage and local participation. That accounts for about 40% of our total visitors, and then the economic impact and tourism generates about 60% of our visitors. Here's just a quick capture of the in-kind complimentary space that we provide. It's $558,000 in value. It was about $589 last year, but we had the World Games last year, so that's why it's down a little bit. But you can see how it breaks down and crosses over between the different organizations as well as the different areas of the complex. All right, then for the economic impact, just like we did the attendance figures, we did include the SEC baseball tournament. So our economic impact for FY23 was at $90.4 million. The SEC baseball tournament was $26 million of that, and so outside of the SEC baseball tournament, we generated about $64 million in economic impact. And the reason that that was up $9 million is we were able to get more perfect games back in here this year, because last year we had World Games and we had lost 3 major tournaments with perfect games. So it's good to see that we're trending back up. As far as financials, just wanted to kind of do a quick overview of the budget versus the actual. So our budget was to generate a net income of $502,000, and the total bottom line actually came in at $1.074 million. So our revenues were up. Because the revenues are up, that cost of goods, the fulfillment tends to increase with that. But our overhead expenses continues to decline, and so it's for the second consecutive year now we've exceeded $1 million in net income from annual operations. That does not include debt service. Okay, from a profit and loss comparison, just wanted to give you the historical data for the past 3 years. FY21, it was just under $600,000 of net income. 349,000 of that came in the form of PPP programs. Last year, we generated 1.14 million, and this year was 1.074, so we were off by about $40,000 this year. As I mentioned previously, the RV park growth has been phenomenal this year. This is a 3-year snapshot of what our net revenues have been. FY21 was 560,000, FY22 was 660,000, and then after our expenses this year, we netted about $950,000. Sponsorship continued to trend upward. Again, a 3-year snapshot. We've got about 20 corporate partners right now that support our facility. FY21, we had 153,000. Last year, we had 209,000. And then this fiscal year, 223, and we're hoping to hit closer to $250,000 this year. Just rental income, again, continues to grow, as well as, like I said, community usage. So it's trending the correct way. We're at that point now, and I think I've mentioned this before, where we have so much repeat business, and we've got more people requesting space than we have. And so we're at that enviable spot where we get to start being selective and pick and choose what events is going to bring the most value to the community. And so, you know, that's going to force us to have to make some tough decisions at some point down the near future, where we're going to have to start telling some people no. And the other thing that we want to focus on is some in-house programming. So in March of 2024, we're going to host an indoor pickleball tournament. We're working with partners to look at creating our own AAU basketball event. So those are just some of those things that we need to do. You know, like right now we've got 8 gun shows. That seems too many to me personally, and that's not really bringing the economic impact. So again, how can we trade up for some of those types of events that are going to bring in more economic impact? And then just talking about our goals moving forward for fiscal year 2024, obviously we want to increase net income. As I mentioned, we want to recruit higher profile events and create some of that in-house programming. Because we have 13 new staff members, we really want to focus on staff development and make sure that we're investing and really helping our staff grow so that we can retain that talent for a couple of years. Re-energize food and beverage. You know, that's one of our strongest revenue sources. We've got a new food and beverage manager, Terry McDaniel, that started about 2 months ago. And, you know, our focus is we're keeping everything in-house. We're going to be doing more catering, concessions at 3 different locations. And so we finally have hired the staff to be able to run it the right way. And then last but not least, you know, as our facility starts getting 5 to 7 years old, and when we're getting 600,000-700,000 visitors a year, we want to keep our facility state of the art. And so I want to make sure that we're having discussions with the City Council, City of Hoover leadership, to make sure that we're reinvesting dollars back into the facility so that we can continue to enjoy these financials and this type of economic impact. So that concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Deely. He mentioned briefly that Sports Facility Management has an annual meeting where they recognize the top performers around the country, and we're very proud of our Hoover Met Complex staff who was recognized as the best overall facility. Mr. Ely was incredibly humbled not to tell you that he was also recognized as the outstanding individual performer in all of SFM. So we're very proud of this entire team and all that you guys do for the city.
Well, thank you, and as everybody knows, it takes a team, so it's not just one individual that does this, so I'm very grateful for our team.
Any questions or comments from the members? Mr. Ely, I would welcome the opportunity for the advisory committee to engage with you on talking through those events Obviously, heads in beds is very important to the city, making sure we get events that are those multi-night stays that feed our restaurants and feed our hotels. So from an advisory committee, Mr. Chairman, I would appreciate the opportunity to talk about that as you make decisions on events going forward.
Yes, sir. I look forward to strategizing.
Good. Anything else? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Ms. Wyatt, come back to you.
All right, thank you for your patience, and Mr. Ely, thank you for a comprehensive report as we got back online. So without further ado, Susan England from Land Design.
Thank you. Take two. We're just going to hit a few highlights. As Mindy mentioned, you all will have the full report in your hands to do a deep dive on your own time, but wanted to just give you a quick overview of what you can expect and explain some of the findings that we found and how we've organized the report so that hopefully as you are walking through it, it makes full sense to you. So we'll be looking at the study overview, hitting some plan highlights, and then talking briefly about what the next steps are. So this plan, this Parks Master Plan project, really comes on the heels of your all's 2040 Future Hoover Comprehensive Plan. And from the beginning, it was very important to the project team that everything that we did, all of the recommendations that came out of this process were in support of that comprehensive plan and aligned with the goals that you all had already spent so much time and effort developing. As you know, Hoover's population is growing, and so a key aspect of this plan is that it establishes a shared vision for the parks and recreation looking ahead for the next 20 years. We did a lot of research, months of stakeholder and community engagement, and there were a handful of things that kind of kept rising to the top. So a summary here, some of those key findings. There's a solid foundation of existing parks that you all have. We heard this again and again in the community engagement, that these parks rank very highly in overall satisfaction among the community. And these can be targeted for very specific improvements to help elevate them even further. So really raising that overall baseline even further. You all know that you're surrounded by natural beauty. I don't need to tell you that. And we really believe, and from what we have observed ourselves and from what we've heard from the community and the stakeholders, that the natural beauty of this region is one of your key assets, and that can be leveraged for recreation, connectivity, community identity, and all of that can then also fold into tourism and economic development. We also heard that communication is critical. The communication about the parks and program offerings has the biggest opportunity to increase park use. And lastly, non-traditional outdoor recreation has the biggest opportunity of growth to meet the current demand, and that is for both residents of Hoover and visitors. So as we kind of digested all of the information that we had collected, we started to formulate 3 guiding principles as the basis of this plan and the recommendations. Number 1, as we said before, all actions should support the city's comprehensive plan. Number 2, benefits should begin with the local Hoover, focus primarily on the community that's here, and then extend to the regional and national level for impact to leverage your investment. And lastly, number 3, outdoor recreation and sports tourism should be recognized as an economic development tool for the city. Underneath these guiding principles, we came up with 5 objectives. Again, this is just diving a little bit deeper into what we heard, feedback from the community and the research that we did. Objective number 1, support the collection of neighborhoods. You all know that Hoover is very geographically diverse. Really lean into that. You've got wonderful neighborhoods. There's lots of special identity associated with those. Lean into that and support that collection. Number 2, connect locally and regionally. So again, that idea of focusing locally, but also reaching out to your neighbors. That will help not only the residents of Hoover be able to more easily get to their own parks, it will also help them explore further and help people from other parts of the region come to Hoover. Number 3, celebrate the natural beauty of Hoover. Hopefully that doesn't need much explanation. Number 4, diversify the offerings. You all have an incredibly strong program for active sports and recreation, as you just heard in the presentation previous. But there's a lot more that you all have to offer as well, including the natural beauty that we just talked about. And objective number 5 is be organizationally smart. So thinking about the systems in place, everything from the Parks and Rec Department itself to the communication that you use to broadcast all of the wonderful events that you have. Underneath each of these objectives are a whole host of strategies and detailed action steps that really drill down and provide a roadmap for how the recommendations of this plan can be accomplished. They're broken into 4 different categories for system, parks, blueways and greenways, and programming, and that's just a way to help organize the broadness of the information. So a few plan highlights from each of those categories, starting with the system. We encourage you to promote fair access and inclusivity to welcome all residents of Hoover. Capitalize on the power of partnerships initiated through this process. Embrace CAPRA accreditation and standards, that's a national standards process. Support staff with resources so they can really grow their parks and programs. And promote environmental stewardship. Under the banner of parks, we heard from the community through that long engagement process that their preference is really to leverage the existing assets. Focus on medium to large parks with more amenities grouped together rather than a bunch of small separate things scattered throughout. Bring consistency as basic elements for a robust park system. So again, that idea of raising the whole bar a little bit more. Improve connectivity to and between parks and improve diversity of the park offerings. When you start looking at implementing new parks and where to fill gaps between spaces, there are a few things to keep in mind. One is to focus on any underserved communities, whether that's because they are spread out to a further region, or perhaps there's a park there, but there's a larger population that's putting greater pressure on that park. As Hoover continues to grow, be mindful of those growth areas, and that can also inform where to concentrate your efforts on new parks. Greenways will be a great way to help get people to the parks and connect parks to each other so that they feel bigger and feel more connected. And with that, the land preservation aspects, you just have a great opportunity to preserve natural places for the community. Under the heading of blueways and greenways, use trails to link people to parks and increase their access to nature. Hoover is well positioned to implement trails and greenways and connect local and regional destinations. And improving access to the Cahaba River can improve diversity of recreation opportunities as well as draw tourism and fuel economic development. As part of this recommendations plan, we identified 6 signature greenway corridors and upgraded trailhead opportunities, and 2 blueway routes with new and upgraded paddle launches. Based on all of the community engagement we did and talking with stakeholders, as I mentioned, there's a wealth of pent-up demand for this, and we believe that the Cahaba River Trail is a priority. It should be a priority corridor for Hoover. Under the heading of programming, we encourage you to expand non-traditional recreation and promote activities and events. These can help introduce people to things that they might not be familiar with and help them gain confidence in a new skill or a new activity. capitalize on existing resources to diversify the offerings for all user groups. So you've got the fabulous youth sports program. Now let's take that, what we've learned from that, and spread it to all the other user groups as well, including adults. And then lastly, communication and advertising of offerings is critical for maximizing the use and enjoyment of all the wonderful offerings that you have, because you've got a lot of great things now and just need to get the word out. And as you continue to build out the system even further, that necessary step of communicating will just continue to be that important step. So what next? We are providing the opportunity for you all to provide your feedback and comments, which we welcome. The next big milestone, and we'll talk a little bit more about detailed schedule, but the next big milestone is really the adoption of this plan. That will unlock a lot of other next steps for helping to implement, starting with conducting a detailed project prioritization process that will let you figure out which corridor feasibility studies or park feasibility studies to do next. That can then tell you how you might need to determine your funding sources, land acquisition, permitting, design, etc., so that you can ultimately get to that final step of construction and implementation of all of the hard work that you all have put in. So, timeline for the adoption of this plan. We've been speaking with the planning and zoning and have been in front of the park board. Tonight we're here with you all. We are asking for everyone's feedback and comments by the end of the month. That will allow us to do another round of edits, anything that we need to pick up from your all's comments, so that in early January we can release a final draft to the public for public comment period. Then following that and any additional edits that might be needed, we hope to be back in front of you in February requesting the adoption of the plan and a celebration at some point in the future. So a few things to look forward to. We hope that you can utilize this plan to prioritize projects and programs. This plan is intended to be a reference for design and development decisions and a foundation for strategic plans that narrow focus to achievable goals. This can help you accomplish important system-wide tasks, and we really intend for this to be a guidebook for making Parks and Recreation in Hoover a truly exceptional experience. And with that, we will take any questions that you might have.
Any questions or comments from the members? Very thorough. We look forward to the next steps that you've outlined. And Ms. Wyatt, I trust you'll guide us through that. Very good. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
That brings us to the end of our presentations and recognitions. We will now move to our consent agenda, which is presented before you. Items 1 through 15 are on the 1 through 15 are on the consent agenda. We will read each of these items individually and take one block motion and one block vote, unless, of course, there's a member of the body who would like to have an item removed from the consent to the regular agenda. Hearing none there, is there a member of the public here who would like to speak on items 1 through 15? If so, we'll be happy to remove it. All right, Mr. Corley.
Item 1 is the payment of bills. Item 2 is the approval of the minutes from the September 28th, 2023 work session and the October 2nd, 2023 regular meeting. Item 3, Resolution 801323 approves an alcohol license for David 18 LLC doing business as Valley Dale Shell, located at 100 River Chase Parkway East, Hoover, Alabama, for the sale of 050 retail beer, off premises only, and 070 retail table wine, off premises only. Resolution number 801723 approves an alcohol license for P.S. Birmingham LLC doing business as Bill Sandoval's Mexican Restaurante, located at 1031 Bronx Gap Parkway, Suite 165, Hoover, Alabama, for the sale of 020 restaurant retail liquor. Resolution 8023-23 reappoints Foster Ware, representative for the utility sector, to the City of Hoover Industrial Development Board for the term expiring on October 31st, 2029. Resolution 8024-23 reappoints following members to the City of Hoover Downtown Redevelopment Authority for a term expiring December 31st, 2029. Robin Gregory, Regis Ramos, and Damian Gilbert. Resolution 801923 authorizes Mayor Brocato to execute a use agreement with the United States Secret Service for National Computer Forensics Institute and any and all documents necessary for the execution of this agreement. Resolution 8018-23 amends the budget for fiscal year ending September 30, 2024 as shown in Exhibit A to the resolution. Resolution 8020-23 accepts a bid from Alabama Turf Works for landscape maintenance services, facilities, and miscellaneous areas, bid number 23-024 in an amount not to exceed $35,663, and authorizes Mayor Brocato to execute any documents necessary for this bid acceptance. Resolution 802123 accepts a bid from Alabama Turf Works for landscape maintenance services for the interchange gateway areas, bid number 23-025 in an amount not to exceed $60,566.16, and authorizes Mayor Brocato to execute any documents necessary for this bid acceptance. Resolution 802223 accepts a bid from Alabama Turf Works for landscape maintenance services roadway areas, bid number 23-026 in an amount not to exceed $50,168.16, and authorizes Mayor Brocato to execute documents necessary for this bid acceptance. Resolution 801423 authorizes the Alabama Department of Transportation to conduct certain improvements to signage on Interstate 459 within city limits of Hoover in accordance with the plans prepared by ALDOT designated as project number IM-149 (322). Resolution number 802523 authorizes Mayor Brocato to execute an agreement with the state of Alabama, acting by and through the Alabama Department of Transportation for the new installation and operation of maintenance of traffic control signals to be constructed at the intersection of Alabama Highway 150 and ATI Parkway, A, D, and E. And resolution 801623 authorizes Mayor Brocato to execute an agreement with the state of Alabama, acting by and through the Department of Transportation for the new installation and operation and maintenance of traffic control signals to be constructed at the intersection of Alabama Highway 119 at Tattersall Park Drive, A, B, and E. Resolution 801523 authorizes Mayor Brocato to execute an agreement with the First Responder Institute Inc. for the 2024 Firefighter Challenge Nationals.
Motion. Second.
We have a motion, I assume, for approval of all items on the consent agenda. Is that correct, Mr. McClinton? Yes.
Second.
And we have a second. We have a motion and second for all items on the consent. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. The ayes have it, the motion carries. We'll now move to the regular agenda for item number 16, resolution number 8006-23. Mr. Cornet.
This resolution grants conditional use approval to property located at 120 Doug Baker Boulevard, Suite 110 for use as a tobacco retail sales and vape shop pursuant to the conditions listed in Exhibit 2 to the resolution.
Mr. President, I move to approve resolution number 8006-23.
Second. We have a motion and second for approval. Had a first reading on this at our last meeting. Of course, we had a work session on Thursday night. Mr. Martin reviewed the item again. Having said that, any member of the body have a question or comment about the item before us? Any member of the public here to speak on resolution 8006-23? Yes, sir. Come on down. If you'd give us your name and address, you're recognized for 3 minutes.
Good evening. Thank you for having me. My name is Scott Laszlo, and I represent the property owner of that property that is contiguous. Oh, you need an address. I'm sorry. Home address: 6009 Terrace Hills Drive, Hoover, Alabama 35242. I represent Crawford Square Real Estate Advisors. We are the property management company of the contiguous property that this business lies in, commonly known as the Village at Lee Branch. And this property, this subject property, the store is already opened, is actually subject to a set of requirements and restrictions that all of our property owners, or all the businesses there, also live under. And we are of the mind that the store that's opened is in violation of those restrictions. We put the landowner on notice as of Friday that they are in default of those, what they're called CC&Rs, conditions, covenants, conditions, and restrictions, and that they have 30 days to cure that notice. We believe the store is in violation of one of the restricted uses on that property. If they do not cure it within 30 days, then we plan to, or intend to take any legal remedies that are at our behest. So I just wanted to go on the record that we are not approving. Actually the use was never brought to our attention to approve. So we haven't approved it, and right now we don't plan to approve it.
Very good. Mr. Corley, can you verify, are these private covenants that he's referring to, or?
Yes, my understanding is that would be a private matter between the property owners and would be separate and independent from your zoning approval.
So they are not, and you concur with that, sir?
Yes.
Very good. Okay, any other questions or comments from the body? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Any other member of the public here to speak on this item? Very good. We have a motion and second for approval. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed say nay. The ayes have it, and the motion carries. That brings us to the end of our agenda. I would ask any member of the body have a comment tonight. Well, on behalf of each of my colleagues and the mayor, I would love to wish everyone a very Merry Christmas. Hope everyone has a wonderful holiday weekend with friends and family. And we will see you back here at our next meeting. Any member of the public here to speak? Mr. Bannister? Come on down.
While Mr. Bannister comes down, I would like to thank all my colleagues, the mayor, staff. We had our first ever menorah lighting at the public library. It was fantastic, and want to appreciate everyone that showed up.
Mr. Bannister.
Hey, John, thank you for this. Good evening, everyone. My name is David Bannister. I live at 9017 Stevens Street. And I came tonight because I'm not really sure of the course of action, but I think it should be noted. I really came to thank our city leaders for their leadership throughout this year and their continual giving of their time and their energy and what they give back to our community. And that leads me to the second point. You know, I speak to a lot of the people in our community, and they want to serve in leadership roles, whether it be the mayor's position, city council, or even the school board. And upon really researching it, and this comes from someone who was a former two-term school board member myself before Hoover, we are woefully underpaying our city council. We are woefully underpaying the office of the mayor, and it's prohibiting qualified people from seeking those opportunities. And I'm not sure how we remedy it. I'm not sure how we go about setting up a compensation committee. I'm not sure if that's the mayor's role or city council's or whom, but I have just available figures from Gardendale to Madison, and those city council members are paid anywhere from $20,000 to $30,000 a year. And if I understand it, our city council's paid $6,700 per year per member. Is that correct? And just show of hands, Sam, Khristi, Derrick, John, Steve, how many hours a week do you pretty much spend on city work or city business? 30, 40 hours a week? So I would dare to say you're under minimum wage, serving in that capacity. Does anyone here in the chamber know how we go about remedying the pay for city council and for the office of mayor? Yes, sir. Mr. City Attorney, you're shaking your head yes. How is that done? Well, I guess we're there, right? We're within the year.
No, it's 18 months, 20 months.
Well, I move that we look at that as soon as possible, because like I said, I want to thank you guys for your selfless service. You're obviously not doing it for the compensation, as most of us don't do the things we do. We do it for the love of our community and our city. But I'm telling you, I think we have a real issue as we look forward in our city to get other people to step forward and to spend this amount of time for what I would consider paupers change. And I think that needs to be looked at. And I know as the mayor spends 60 plus hours a week paying the mayor and the mayor's pay is not commensurate with what this city is and where this city stands in the state and what we should be paying the chief executive officer of a city of this size. And I think that keeps people from running from that position. So I'm here to thank you for your service, but I'm also glad that the city attorney will help me understand how that goes about, because I would implore the people of our city.
Time is up. Appreciate you. Anyone else here to speak tonight? Very good. Thank you for your attendance. We're adjourned.
Next week, it's 9/11.